Today, let's talk about how to build an incredible professional network in college. And I wanted to divide this video into 3 parts. Number 1, how to connect. Number 2, how to maintain those relationships. And number 3, how to collaborate and automate. See, building relationships in college is undoubtedly the single most important skill you're gonna develop in your life. However, I need to emphasize the word build relationships. It's not like you get into college and suddenly, yes, I know all of these future Elon Musk and future Jeff Bezoses and everything else. No, that's not gonna happen. You need to build it. You need to maintain them, you need to nurture them, and you need to expand them. That is why I wanted to make this video, because I know it's difficult for me, especially right now during these times of lockdown and where classes are, you barely see half of one person under their mask. And it's so hard to connect with other people because some people are scared, some people don't want to go out, there are so many restrictions on movement and everything else and things we can do and how we can enjoy life and truly connect. I really want to make this video. I think it's a particularly good time to make this video and kind of share what I've learned in the past few years and during my entire life trying to build relationships. But if you're new here, my name is Diego, this is Apex of Man. I'm an undergraduate studying business and computer science at Boston University, and if you're obsessed with self-development, productivity, and how to be a better student, make sure to smash that subscribe buttons and hit the bell icon so you don't miss a single video. New videos out every week. Let's go. Number 1, connect. For example, you can join Clubhouse, Lunch Club, many of these other platforms that allow you to meet one person every week. They pre-schedule a call and plug it into your calendar. You don't have to do anything. You just have to press a button, tell them your availability, and you'll start connecting with people who share your own preferences. I'm actually subscribed to 2 of these services. One is Nova Gravity, that is a group that you need to apply to and actually get accepted into. It's a talent network across the world. And the second one is Lunch Club. Lunch Club is much easier. You don't need to apply. I really suggest you join these places and perhaps join Clubhouse, for example, another app where people have public calls and you can dial in, you can speak, you can host your own calls, talk about whatever you want to talk about, get to know people, get to know interesting people, and just truly start building that expansive connection from there. That is how you meet people nowadays, and it's really, in a sense, easier, in a sense harder, because you're not face-to-face and you're not in that close geographical proximity, but it is easier in the sense that it is online and there's no friction to it. But the most powerful connect tool is LinkedIn. Not only can you join groups on LinkedIn of shared interest, perhaps in startups, entrepreneurship, finance, investment banking. There are thousands of groups within LinkedIn that you can join and share in that community, bring value to that community. So during last summer, I used LinkedIn to source a lot of individuals and discovered the power that LinkedIn has to get to find specific people that you want to find. So I wanted to give you a few tips to start using LinkedIn to kind of get to know as much people as possible. In the beginning, make sure to connect with as many people as you can, because LinkedIn works kind of in concentric circles. So you get access to the people that are closest to you. It works in kind of a 3-ringed way. Your first connections are the people that you directly connect to. Then the friends of those connections that you are not connected to are the second tier. And then the friends of those friends that you're not connected to are the 3rd tier. So when you search, you only get to the max of that 3rd tier unless you pay for LinkedIn Premium. Make sure to connect with as many people as you can to expand your network as much as you can and have access to that search function, which is all encompassing. Second LinkedIn tip is that you start looking for the search function and filtering down with the filter button. So for example, if you want to know about Goldman Sachs, write Goldman Sachs and then maybe think, I go to Boston University. Let me write Goldman Sachs, Boston University, filter by people, and then you can find a person who went to Boston University is currently at Goldman Sachs. And you can then send a note to them and be like, hey, I'm studying at Boston University, I'm really interested in investment banking. Can you talk to me? And that initial connection, because you know you're connected to them through the Boston University institution, then that person will be a lot more open to having a conversation with you. And you can filter by many things, not only your college. Number 3, if you know someone of influence, make sure to go into their profile and check their connections. Go through their connections, and you can also filter their connections. So if you're looking for a startup internship, for example, you can go to maybe a friend of yours who's an entrepreneur, go to their connections and search, filter for the keyword founder or CEO or startup or one of those types of keywords, and then the list is gonna be shrunk down from maybe 20 pages to just one, and then you can start connecting with those individuals and say, hey, I'm looking for an internship opportunity at a startup. I looked at your connection. I know this person, he is a friend of mine, and he really recommended your company and your institution. Can we get to talk this week? Are you free? You know, start building those connections. So when you're going to make that move to go into LinkedIn and send them a note, I'm gonna leave a template down below, a very simple template that is the exact number of characters that it allows you to send a note to introduce yourself and start getting that ball rolling in terms of scheduling a conversation with one of those individuals. And finally, I just wanted to mention a few other ways to connect within your university. Attend extracurriculars, be it kind of professional, more academic clubs like the investment club, the consulting club, all of these different things, or even more kind of social clubs, perhaps the Turkish club, or if you're Venezuelan, the Venezuelan club, and you start to get to know people that are connected to you. You can start building these relationships with people who have certain things in common with you, and then maintain those relationships throughout. Not only that, but you can also, when you go to internships, make sure to get to know as many people as you can within organizations and maintain those relationships. So make sure you take advantage not only of the new platforms that exist, such as Lunch Club, Clubhouse, LinkedIn, all of those things, but make sure you attend extracurriculars that truly expand your network and take advantage of internships where you get to know a lot of people. Number two, how to maintain those relationships, because you can be saying, yes, fantastic, I know all these people now, I have their names, I have their emails, but how the hell do I maintain those relationships? There's like 300 people in the first company alone. How do I keep track of all of these individuals? I got the answer for you because it's really, really hard. I'm an individual that's really focused on my own work and my own things and doing my thing and kind of going through life and going day to day, doing the day-to-day things. And sometimes I forget to connect with people. Sometimes I forget certain relationships that I have and leave them aside. So that is exactly why I created a Notion template. For those of you that don't know, Notion is a personal productivity platform that takes care of my entire life. And within those pages, you can have certain systems. For example, a database that helps you track your relationships. So that is exactly what I built in Notion, a personalized template kind of to keep track of those relationships that I have and to remind me when I am overdue in keeping track with those relationships. So that's gonna be linked down below, and let's hop right into it. So as you can see here, this is the personal CRM that I built specifically in Notion to maintain those relationships and continue building your network in college. You can put evidently your name, you can hit a category, so you can then search for the differences in category. You can filter through that. Not only that, but here it tells you if you are overdue. This is a mathematical formula that I created with the help of one of my computer scientist friends, that essentially kind of takes into account the date when you last caught up with that person. And not only that, but how often do you want to keep in contact with this individual? So it takes that into account, and then you can set up reminders that send you an email when you are overdue in terms of keeping in contact with this individual person. You can also keep track of their current company, if they're a professional network individual or they are a more personal network individual. And, you know, again, their email, their phone, their LinkedIn, and something that is really, really, really important, the notes section. You know, in the notes section, you write things that you kind of spoke about in the last meeting and the last time you spoke. Maybe, you know, their daughter was doing something really important, that she was getting this achievement or this certificate or whatever, she graduated college or she was doing something interesting. And so you ask again about that the next time you speak, and you remember their family members by name because you have it written down, because unless you're a crazy person who has an incredible memory for everything, you're not going to be able to keep track of all of this. This is something that Dale Carnegie used to keep track of all of his relationships. That fantastic book that I truly recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence People. He talks about that there. And keeping these notes is really, really important to kind of bridge those more impersonal, informational sessions when you talk, and all of those things that kind of keep the conversation light, keep it flowing, and keep that more personal connection, which is so necessary, especially nowadays where everything is done through Zoom. And again, here you can relate it to other individuals here in the connection part, and you can look for former companies, for example. Like, it took me quite a while to build this personal relationship management template, and if you don't have Notion, be sure to download it and then duplicate this template. It's gonna be linked down below. It's super, super easy. Notion is free. You don't have to pay anything. So it's an absolute no-brainer. Like, no one can keep track of more than maybe 10 relationships off of the top of their head, because it's so hard nowadays. And the last section is collaborate and automate. And we briefly spoke about automation in the last section, the maintain section, because in the Notion template, you can actually automate it to remind you of when you need to contact these people. But the third section is kind of transcending that maintenance phase. You need to start collaborating with these individuals. You need to start providing value. You need to start being of service to them. You need to start creating that deeper personal connection, which takes a long time, but those are the relationships that really sustain throughout your life. Not only will they be good professionally, but they will be good personally for you. Give before you receive. Build that personal collection, because there is no other way to a person's heart than actually doing a favor for them, because that creates that social contract between both of you, and then they are indebted to you in terms of a favor. So collaborating and automating is an important phase that helps you transcend kind of a professional connection that you have with this individual, and then creates that more personal feeling. That's why the notes section of the Notion template is so important, because you need to start remembering the important things for that person. If that person is very passionate about scuba diving, man, be sure to ask them about scuba diving. Be sure to be interested in scuba diving. So that was it for me. If you're still hanging around, thank you so much for your support. If you're interested in more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss a single video. Thanks for getting to the end of the video. Again, it's an absolute pleasure. If you're interested in more videos like this one, be sure to check out how I got a 4.0 GPA at Boston University during quarantine. This one on how to stop being tired all the time as a student. Thank you so much for your support, guys. See you in the next video.